Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to part 20 of Quranic Contemplations, where we contemplate selected verses from the Quran. And in this episode, we're going to be looking at the 20th juz of the Quran, inshallah. The first verse we're going to be looking at and reflecting on is from Surah Qasas, verse number 14, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about those who attain full strength and maturity, and Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. He's talking about the story of Musa alayhi salam, and he says that when he attained full strength, when he became mature, he became an adult, we gave him آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And this in fact shows us the benefits and the virtues of having and possessing good deeds and doing good deeds and being from those who have ihsan. So Allah says, thus do we reward the doers of good. How does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward those who do good deeds? Those who have ihsan, those who are from the muhsineen, they do lots of good deeds and they try to perfect their good deeds and they try their best in doing good deeds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards those people, like He says in the ayah before the last ayah, that we bestowed upon him judgment and knowledge. So from the benefits of a person doing good deeds and trying his best and having ihsan in his good deeds and worshipping Allah sincerely and purely for His sake and trying his best in perfecting his good deeds, is that Allah will increase you in judgment and also in knowledge. Allah will increase your knowledge. The second verse I want to go through is again in Surah Qasas, verse number 25, where again it's a story of Musa alayhi salam and how he helped the two women who needed help taking water from the well, and there was a crowd, and so Musa alayhi salam helped them. And then one of the women came because she told her father about what Musa alayhi salam had done. And so she comes inviting him to the house. But the way she approaches and speaks to Musa alayhi salam shows us so much about, her honor, her dignity, the respect that she had for herself, and how chaste she was as a woman, and the modesty that she possessed. She says, قالت إن أبي يدعوك ليجزيك أجر ما سقيت لنا. Verily, my Father invites you that He may reward you for having watered for us. So she doesn't invite Musa alayhi salam to come to her house. She says, and she doesn't say, I'm inviting you, because of the negative connotations that could hold, because of what may be thought if she said to Musa, a stranger, I'm inviting you to my house, because he may have evil thoughts. And so she's making him understand, my Father is the one who's inviting you to our house. And also she's telling him the reason why, because of, and to reward you for you having watered for us. So there's no misunderstanding with regards to why she is now speaking to him and telling him to and inviting him to the house. Again, it shows us the honor and the dignity and the modesty which the believing women are supposed to have. The third verse is verses number 71 and verse number 72. In these verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us to ponder and to reflect, and He says, have you considered if Allah should make for you the night continuous until the day of judgment, what deity other than Allah could bring you the light? أَفَلَا تَسْمَعُونَ. And then in the second ayah, in ayah number 72, a similar thing, Allah says, have you considered if Allah had made the day continuous until the day of judgment? And then at the end, أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Why is there a difference at the end? Why is it أَفَلَا تَسْمَعُونَ for the first ayah and أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ for the second ayah? Why is there a difference between the two? Why is it the act of hearing that's mentioned in the first verse, and then the act of seeing that's mentioned in the second verse. One of the benefits we can take from this, and one of the lessons and one of the ways we can ponder about this verse, is that the first verse is talking about the night. And during the night, there's less light. And because there's less light, you're more prone to using your sense of hearing as opposed to your sense of seeing. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, أَفَلَا تَسْمَعُونَ. He's making us think about and reflect and ponder and use the sense of hearing as a result of the night, and how we're more dependent on our hearing during the night time. In the second verse, Allah is referring to the day, and how the day could have been continuous until the day of judgment if Allah willed. Then will you not see? أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Because a person will use his sight more than he possibly would during the night time. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ, with regards to the day, because in the day you're able to you'll be able to use your sight a lot easier than you would if it was the night time without daylight, without sunlight, and without being able to see where you're going and what you're doing. Jazakumullah khair for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.